Before we get into this week's We Just Quit Wednesday podcast, I just want to say that we have officially hit 100 subscribers, and I am so happy and so grateful. At the time of recording this week's We Just Quit Wednesday podcast, we were not on 100 subscribers, so that's why I refer to being on 99 and that road to 100. But we have hit it now, and I am so grateful and so happy. I appreciate every single one of you listening, and I'm going to talk about it more in next week's We Just Quit Wednesday podcast. But I just want to say thank you so much. So enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome to We Just Quit in the podcast, but we do more than just quote. This is We Just Quit Wednesday, and today I'll be talking about the Kanye West and Drake beef, Kanye West's new song, the Premier League update that I'll be doing regularly, and this week's quote of the week, which will be revealed in the podcast. Stay at the end to get a clue about next week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you know exactly when a new podcast comes out, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Before I get into it, on the day of recording this podcast, we are on 99 subscribers. 99! The mini goal for now is 100. So just one more of you lovely, beautiful listeners to subscribe. If you haven't already, that would be great. We get that 100 mark done, and we move on to bigger and better things like the 200, the 300, the 1K, the 100K, the 1 mil eventually. But for now, it's that road to 100 subscribers. Just one more of you. So please tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your siblings, tell your friends, tell your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, your nephews. Subscribe to We Just Quote in the podcast, because we do more than just quote. Now, last week and the week before that, I've been doing a Premier League update, saying about the matches coming up and where each club is in the league table. Check out last week's We Just Quit Wednesday podcast if you haven't already. I'll be doing the same thing today. I'm going to keep on going. If you're new and you didn't know I'm doing this, I'm going to keep on going until the Premier League is over. If you have any predictions of who's going to stay on top, who you think is going to be number one next week, who you want to win, comment down below. I'll be really interested to hear. But so the league tables have changed once again. Who was in first this week, I believe, was not first last week. So I'm going to say the whole table from 20th to 1st, and then I'm going to say, who's lost and won and how much people have drew, etc. So in 20th place, 20 out of 20, we have Arsenal, who have lost 3 games. I'll just say the name of the team and what they've lost and won. Norwich City in 19, who have lost 3 games. Wolves, 18th place, who have lost 3 games. Newcastle 17th, I believe, have climbed the table. They have drew a game and lost 2 games. In 16th, we've had Burnley, who have also drew 1 game and lost 2 games. 15th place is Leeds United with 2 draws and 1 loss. 14th place is Crystal Palace. With 2 draws and 1 loss. Same with Southampton, they're in 13th place with 2 draws and 1 loss. In 12th place, we've got Watford, 2 losses, 1 win. Aston Villa 11th with 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw. Following Aston Villa in 10th place, we have Brentford, who have 2 draws and 1 win. Leicester City 9th with 2 wins and a loss. Brighton have 2 wins and a loss also. Man City following 7th with 2 wins and a loss. Everton, 2 wins and a draw at 6th. Liverpool, top 5. We have 2 wins and a draw. Chelsea, 2 wins and a draw. Man United, 2 wins and a draw. In 2nd place, we have West Ham, 2-0, 2 wins and a draw. And top of the table, with 9 points, with 3 wins, we have Tottenham. That's the league table as of the day of recording this podcast. when this podcast comes out on Sunday 29th, we would have had Tottenham versus Watford, which was 1-0 win to Tottenham. We would have had also on Sunday Wolves versus Man United. They would have won 1-0. Man United won. On the day of recording this podcast, September 11th, which I believe is next Saturday on the day of this podcast coming out. Yep, that's next Saturday. We have at 12:30 Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. At 3 we have Watford versus Wolves. Arsenal, not Aston Villa. Arsenal versus Norwich City. Brentford versus Brighton. Man United versus Newcastle. Southampton versus West Ham, all at 3. Also at 3 we have Leicester City versus Man City. Chelsea versus Aston Villa. On Sunday 12 at 4:30 we have Leeds United versus Liverpool, and on Monday 13th of September we have Everton versus Burnley at 8 o'clock. So that's all the matches that have happened and are going to happen so far in terms of when the podcast comes out. That's the league tables read to you, and that completes this week's Premier League update. If you're really interested into this part of this segment, of the podcast, make sure you come back next week because we'll be doing it again. And also check out last week's We Just Quit Wednesday podcast if you haven't already. Now, Kanye West and Drake beef. So these two people are both musicians. Can't lie to you, I did have to research a bit into the whole beef and the drama and the argument. I didn't know it was going on till one of my friends told me, oh, those two are beefing, right? And I was like, oh, okay, let me look into that. And I believe it was a couple of We Just Quit Wednesdays ago, I was speaking about educating yourself. And it's this idea about always educating yourself and being your own teacher, not relying on other people. So when my friend told me about this, I was like, I'm going to go and educate myself so I can then talk about it here. I'm going to read you, this is from The Sun, everything that's been going on, how I got up to date and how I got caught up. And then I'll talk about why it's relevant and why I'm speaking about the Kanye West and Drake beef. Because if you're new to this podcast, you may think, oh, it's just news in the world, celebrities, footballers, music. But it's not, it's more than that. I'm trying to deliver messages and meaning behind all these things. These are just fronts. And I feel like the more relatable subject is to you, it's easier for you to learn the lessons behind it and what I want to portray. So, I'm not okay. Kanye West blasts Drake for stabbing him in the back on Donda after rapper hints he had intercourse with Kim Kardashian. Kanye West used his new album Donda to blast Drake for stabbing him in the back as they continued to feud over Kim Kardashian. The back and forth between the former friends started when Drake appeared to insinuate that he had intercourse with Kanye's wife, Kim. On his track, In My Feelings, Drake rapped about having intercourse with another woman called Kiki, which is Kim's family nickname. The Keeping Up with the Kardashian star denied the rumors about Drake in a response to In My Feelings. Kanye and Drake previously collaborated on multiple songs together, including 30 Hours and Yikes, but now they've been dissing one another on their tracks. After In My Feelings, Kanye now firing back at the 34-year-old Canadian rapper with his new song, OK, off his new album, which is titled after his late brother Donda. On the track, the father of 4 raps, OK, now they got me, wanna rap again, heal the wound, and then you stab me in the back again. You the type to play the joke and try to hide your hand, not the type to come around and try to play your friend. You the type to cut the grass and snake your bestest man. He went on to not only diss Drake for making the comment about Kim, but also to slam his rap game. You want to come in and play with the GOAT, the GOAT. You got no real identity, can't tell you from you. Then the chaos kicks off. The Canadian rapper recently dissed his peer in a new track called Betrayal, where he slammed Ye as burned out. Ye being Kanye, I believe. Then Kanye leaks Drake's Toronto address on Instagram during their years-long feud. Kim 40 filed for divorce from Kanye back in February, just a month before another new Drake song dropped, this one calling out Ye. The former couple filed for joint legal and physical custody of their 4 children: North, 7 years old, Saint, who is 5, Chicago, who is 3, and Psalm, who is 2. In the song Wants and Needs, Drake raps, "Yeah, I probably got to link to Yeezy. I need me some Jesus, but as soon as I start confessing my sins, he wouldn't believe us." This led fans to think he's claiming he slept with Kim behind his back again after rapping about his sins. Then we've got Drake versus Kanye. He first started rumors he bedded with former friend's wife back in 2018 with In My Feelings, in retaliation for Kanye revealing the push-out tea that Drake had a secret son. The pair fell out after Drake was left convinced Kanye leaked news about his secret son, leading Kanye to release this track story of Adding On, which outed Drizzy as a parent in 2018. Kanye responded at the time by releasing a string of Instagram videos calling Drake out over the controversial lyrics. In one outburst, Kanye said, "I told you I ain't tell Pusha about your son." He then claimed Drake threatened him, adding, "So Drake, if anything happens to me or my family, you are the first suspect, so cut the tough talk." Kanye also accused Drake of bullying and slammed him for picking on a man with issues. So that's kind of everything in the beef. I know that's a lot to take in. When I was reading that was a lot to take in. But why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about these two? It's because these two people are musicians and they're using their music to kind of get at each other. And this is where I get to the point where I'm conflicting. Are they... It's the idea about hiding behind a mask. Like hiding behind music. However, because their name is on it, because it's out there for the world, they're not necessarily hiding behind the mask. It's not, if you're nothing about the suit, you shouldn't have it. It's not, oh, they're nothing about the music. So then you ask yourself this idea of using means like music to diss each other, to feud with each other. Is it right? Is it wrong? What messages am I getting across? First off, they're friends, and that's kind of really sad how like they were friends, and all this has swelled into a very big thing. But what I do want to say is about like being careful about what platforms you use to address your feelings. However, music is it's subjective, but it's also a great way to express yourself. You know, I saw this quote where it's like, you can't touch music, but music can touch you. And I feel like using things like music to kind of express and say how you feel, such a good thing. When it comes to the point where you're dissing one another, this is where I'm on the fence a bit. And I'm like, I don't know. I do hope they make peace and they move on. I guess it's very entertaining for both audiences to have like the beef and the drama going on. I know when there was a whole YouTube beef going on in diss track season with like the KSI, the Slidemen, Deji, everybody, what's his name? Podeka, another person, Rice Gum, all that kind of stuff. It is very entertaining for the viewers. But you have to remember that this is people's lives, and I just think you have to be careful when you use platforms like YouTube, like social media, like music, to say your opinions when you're dissing somebody else. And I think we all have a responsibility to use our platforms to good. You know? We have the responsibility to not take things too far. We have to hold accountability. And I guess with things like music, when it's Drake and when it's Kanye, their names behind it, they are saying every single word and they're not shying behind it. I think that is very different to using it and wearing a mask, where you use music and you go out to be malicious and hateful, but you're hiding behind it. That's very different. Going on like Instagram, on social media, to show hate on somebody else and hiding behind this platform isn't right. And even if you are open about it and you're not hiding, you're still using that platform. And I always say, if you can say it on social media, you should be able to say it in real life. If you can't say it in real life, then don't say it on social media. That's what I've always said. Abraham Lincoln said, "You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today." We're not fully talking about responsibility, but this idea about if we take the concept of escaping responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today, we can twist it and turn it into you can't escape, you can't hide behind a mask. You have this responsibility to use your platforms responsibly and to use our words to do good, spread good, good words, positive energy, good vibes, all that kind of stuff. Liberty means responsibility. That is why most men dread it, by George Bernard Shaw. This idea of, okay, we have this freedom, we have this power, we have social media, we have this platforms, we have music, we have whatever, we have YouTube. It now means take responsibility if you're going to use it, and let's use it to spread good, spread kindness, and spread positive energy. Now, I spoke about at the very beginning that I talked about Drake's new album. So, not Drake, excuse me, Kanye West. Oh, don't want to start any more beef. Kanye West has a new album called Donda, and like I said before, I believe it's by his late mother. I don't want to get it incorrect, but he's definitely named after someone in his family. Donda is the 10th studio album by American rapper and producer Kanye West. It was released on August 29th, 2021 by Good Music and Def Jam Recordings. The album is named after Kanye West's late mother, Donda West. There we go. The album was initially set for release on July 24th, 2020, but was delayed multiple times. Why it was delayed, who knows? I certainly don't. But I thought, you know what, if I'm going to talk about Kanye West and his beef with Drake, may as well talk about his new album, Donda. So, in all honesty, I've only heard a minute of the album and it was off the grid, I believe it's called. So, I am relying on reviews from different websites, different sources, analyze some lyrics, and yes, see how that goes. So, typed in Donda songs, and one of them is No Child Left Behind. So I'm going to go and find the lyrics, read some, analyze, see what I like, and obviously, as always, find some messages and meanings behind them, because I believe that artists don't just write for the sake of writing. There's always some sort of meaning behind it, even if we don't like it. And actually, that raises a good lesson. Always do everything with meaning. Everything you do, put your whole heart into it 100% and do it with meaning. I feel like we have to give everything a purpose. And when we do things with meaning and do things with purpose, it's so much better than just not doing it without one. So, No Child Left Behind starts with verse 1, which is no child left behind, no child left behind, no child left behind, no child left behind, no child left behind. Back again, I use my back against the wall, never called on y'all, never count on y'all. I always count on God. Back again, I use my back against the wall, never called on y'all, never count on y'all. I always count on you. I always count on God. Obviously, it's getting very religious, but the Christian faith is built upon trusting a higher will and purpose than your own. This is the idea that God can pull you through when no one else can, when no one else could. Help Rory, I'm guessing that is the other artist on the track, when he needed them the most, he counted on God to help him instead. This is a possible reference to Kanye's track On God from his 2019 gospel project, Jesus is King. On the track, Kanye rapped about all the times God helped him through hard, sometimes life-threatening times. I am a person of faith, of Christian faith, and so I very much back this. And I know not all of you listening will be, but in terms of relating this to all of you, it's the idea that sometimes when we feel really alone, that no one else can help us, there always is someone. I believe there's a higher power that I can go to that will always be there for me, that will always pull me through the good times, that I will thank when things go my way and good things happen. However, we all have that other person in our lives, and you may not see it. You may want to turn to a higher power, you may not, but you may not see, but we all have that one person in our life, always someone you can count on. And it's about acknowledging that and appreciating that, and just looking out for one another is so important. Just being there for your friends, checking up on them once in a while, and to be like, hey, are you okay? And that is this week's quote of the week. Hey, are you okay? At the end of last week's WJQ Wednesday podcast, make sure you guys are staying at the end to get a feel about next week's podcast. But I said about how we should like support one another. This idea of just supporting one another, backing one another, being there for one another, celebrating the success of each other, being there and supporting each other's projects is so important. And just show someone like, hey, are you okay? You know, like, hey, I'm here for you. All that kind of stuff. And you may not realize it, but you always do have someone in your corner. No Child Left Behind is very short, because after that, Kanye West goes, he's done miracles on me, he's done miracles on me, he's done miracles on me, he does miracles on me, he's done miracles on me, he's done miracles on me. And then the song ends. And that's it. It's a lot shorter than I expected. Like I said, I haven't really listened to the album at all, so I can't really give my ratings on it. But please, if you've listened to it, please let me know. I potentially will listen to more songs and maybe talk about it in a mini podcast. Guys, check out a bunch of the mini podcasts that I have recorded and I'll put out already. They're like 10-minute podcasts. But yeah, this idea, as I've always sang about, always counting on God to help you out. Kanye sings of God's provision and guidance through his life. The chorus is reminiscent of lines from God Is, in which Kanye also raps about God's miracles on his life. There are so many miracles out there. You just have to be open to receiving them. We are all blessed. Remember that you are blessed. We are all blessed. And I think that sometimes we don't remember that and we think we're not, but we really are. We are all blessed. I'm going to do one more lyric analysis of one of the songs from Donda. If you have a specific song you would like me to go through next time, please email at wjqwednesday@gmail.com, link in the description, or just comment down below. I will now be doing New Again. Gonna look at that. I'm going to read the very last chorus of the song by the Sunday Sabbath choir, which is make me new again, make me new again, make me new again, make me new again, and it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. I actually haven't got any analysis of this from the Genius website. Yeah, there isn't any analysis on the Genius website, so I'm gonna like give my own analysis on this one. This idea of make me new again, you know, when it's New Year's and everyone's like New Year, new me, that kind of stuff. I feel like it's this idea of like wanting a new self, wanting to start fresh. And I feel like in life we have to shed our leaves, we have to shed our skin, like snakes do, shed our leaves, like plants do in the autumn, and we just have to start new on our own accords. And sometimes you start fresh, we all just need that fresh start. And when life gives you an opportunity, a fresh start, make sure you take it and you use it well, but also give yourself fresh starts. We can't do everything over. I remember that life is full of learning lessons, but it's this idea that we want to be made new again. We've made a mistake and we want to learn. So when you make mistakes, learn from them and make yourself new again. Just like the choir said, make me new again, make me new again, make me new again. But do that for yourselves. Before I wrap up, I want to give a shout out. This week's shout out is to Charmaine Ryan. If you want to be next week's shout out, just comment. All you have to do is comment down below on this week's Wejustquoting Wednesday podcast, and you are in for the possibility of getting a shout out. Also, please subscribe. So close to 100 subscribers. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. This has been Wejustquoting Wednesday. Make sure you give a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and do all that good stuff. Look out for mini podcasts and Wejustquoting shorts in between Wejustquoting Wednesdays, and stay tuned for next week's Wejustquoting Wednesday. If you have any quotes, questions, or topic ideas, email them to wejustquoting@gmail.com. Thank you again for listening, and bye-bye for now. There's millions of us just like you, like you.